This week on Rivertales, we will first talk to the co-founders of the Honorable Young Men Club about their program, why they started it, and what it means to them and the students involved. After, we will meet the two women who run the Arcadia Valley Theater Guild and some of its members. Then, Stacy Lane and Christy Kreitz will discuss the Youth Coding League. Finally, the operations manager at Catapult in Cape Girardeau will go over what Catapult has to offer the community and CMO students. Stay tuned for Rivertales.
1, 2, 3, family.
We all kind of had that same passion. It was like, what is something that we can create where these young men could benefit from?
I mean, the program kind of just stepped right on in. It kind of just took our focus away from the other things, and we found purpose.
I believe that, with this that we have created and pioneered, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to come from it.
Honorable Young Men's Club is a behavioral program where we specialize in catering with at-risk students. So any kids that are having issues as far as OSS, ISS, or any behavioral issues inside the classroom, those are the kids that we cater to.
The goal is to figure out the life skills and the soft skills and try to figure out how we can use those skills to be able to mature these young men.
It provides a different avenue, a different approach, First of all, let's look at the demographic that we serve. They consistently get and consistently hear, you're talking too much in class, you're misbehaving, you're being a pain.
But we ask them, hey, what did you eat last night? Or did you even eat last night? Hey, what's going on at home? And when they tell you that, then it's like, okay, all right, I've released that anger, I've released all that stuff that I'm trying to hide, so now I can focus on school. But it's really hard to focus on school when you just have so much stuff in your mind as an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old. And then people are just asking you, hey, your grades are this, hey, your grades are that. But they're not asking you why.
I majored in criminal justice with a minor in social work. And so I've always, for some reason, connected with kids just like that. And so I moved to Paducah, Kentucky, and I worked at a juvenile detention center for 1 year. And so at that 1 year, I kind of realized, I like working with these kids because once upon a time, I felt I was an at-risk kid. Me growing up and not knowing my biological father, but I did have a stepdad in the home. And so just seeing how some of these kids reacted to certain situations, I could see myself in them. But I never really had anybody kind of pull me to the side. Outside of my stepdad, kind of like a big brother type person, I never really had that. And so working at the juvenile detention center, I was like, I can really help these kids, And so that's when I really started falling in love with at-risk kids because these kids weren't trouble kids. They were just a product of their environment.
I grew up in a single mother home, no father figure around, and so I thank God just for the men that stepped up as father figures in my life. And I know that because they did that, I am the man that I am today.
Being born in Africa, having my father around, and then coming to America when I was 10 and not having my father around, it was like two completely different childhoods. It's like, living different lives, basically. So being with my stepmother and just seeing all the sacrifices that she made for me and my family and my brothers, it just went to show dang, you need that other male role model in the house because she was working two jobs, busting her butt, trying to do everything she could, and was still trying to figure out how to make ends meet. So it just gave me that little anger in my heart for my father and just men out there. But, I think that once high school was over and college, it was just like, I've been through that already. And seeing these students and these kids going through the same thing, and the youth going through the same thing, it was just like, we can't let this generational curse continue. We have to figure out how we can step up to the plate and break that opportunity. So that's what we did.
As adults, sometimes we don't conquer our own fears and our own struggles that we once had as a kid. And so one thing that we try to do, we think about the things that we didn't have as a young kid. Someone to talk to, someone to help us express our feelings, or be like, hey, instead of you getting upset, how about you do this? We didn't grow up with an alternative. And so that's what we try to do for the young man.
One of the students that came in earlier, he's like, man, going home, it's tough sometimes. Like, I don't want to just sit there all day. Like, there's so much negative energy around me, this places and these places, and he's like, I need to change. And so they literally come to school for Honorable Men Club because that's the most positive thing they're going to get.
I think it means a lot to them. In those relationships right now, you may not be able to see it, but the thing is, relationships, it is a long run. You know, it's not something that you're going to get ROI on today. It's something that, you know, in the future, 5, 10 years from now, a kid would come up to you and say, hey, you changed my life. And that's what we're here for.
I feel like I got a big family. You know, I feel like I'm a coach of a big football team. One day you feel like a brother, one day you feel like a father, one day you feel like an uncle, a grandpa, you know, because they need that shoulder to cry on sometimes or whatever. It's crazy when you have students that depend on you. When you have kids every day looking forward to you coming into school or looking forward to hanging out with you guys and bowling on the weekends, everything you do really matters. You know, what you say, how you dress, how you act. When they see you interacting with other people, if it's male or female, they see that, right? And so everything we do, like I just mentioned, is seen by those eyes. And they, at this age, they won't forget that. They won't forget that because they're looking for that role model. They're looking for that blueprint. You know, we don't do this just because it's pretty, but on the camera. Like, you're talking about these guys being future fathers, future uncles, you know, leaders of their home. And so you have to live that blueprint out. You can't just talk about it. You got to walk it out.
Kencho says this all the time. It's kind of like a joke. It's like, man, some of these kids don't even have the opportunity to get in the ring, you know. Let's just help them get in the ring, and then they can start fighting, and they can learn on their own, but they just don't have an opportunity to get in the ring to be able to have a fighting chance. But the thing is that if they can learn that skill, if they can learn how to shake a hand, if they can learn how to look somebody in their eyes when they're speaking, I'm going to hire you. So those life skills and those soft skills is just kind of like when everybody's going this way, we're attacking at different angles to be able to figure out how to get these students jobs, get them into college, and allow them to be successful.
It was a couple weeks ago, I was at the high school. This was our first year at the high school. And I had 2 freshman boys that were in the same class. And they were a little bit uncomfortable in the classroom. And and this situation had been reoccurring over and over and over again. And so one day they were fed up. And now, if you know these 2 students, if we took that same situation and brought it back to the 5th and 6th grade, they would have blown up. They would have made a scene. They would have been sent to ISS. We don't know what they would have said verbally. Like, well, talking to them a month ago, they were like, man, the way we're dealing with the situation now is way different than how we would have handled it before. We see what you guys are talking about now. You know, it takes time for that. It does take time for that. You know, these are guys that were in 5th and 6th grade. Now they're, you know, 8th grade, 9th grade, and they're starting to see it. So what's going to happen when they're 24, when they're 29, when they're 30? I mean, the opportunity is endless. I'm just waiting to see what kind of men they really become.
The future, we're still talking about that to this day. Because honestly, when we started the program, it wasn't like a big picture thing. It wasn't like, okay, we're going to try to put this in all these schools and all these states, and now it's like it's starting to kind of snowball. You know, from the first year we had it to going from 35 kids to that next year going to 185 kids in 1 year, it was like, okay, we have something powerful on our hands.
And so, you know, not to put the cart before the horse, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but you know, we did have the legislators come in, we did have the Black Caucus come in, Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, you know, Representative Kathy Swan, Representative Barry, Wisely, Bosley, they all came in and they sat down. They got to see this program. We got to see a presentation. They got to visit our students. And, you know, there's been talks about scaling this program across the state. Now, I think that's beautiful. And it's cool to see that is something that's going to be, that's in their eyesight as far as their vision goes. But as far as us as a team, we need to make sure it's sustainable before anything is replicated.
That overnight success of 5 years is now rendering, but it's just one of those things that this community was kind of slow to see it, but now that they're seeing it, people are just, hopes are getting lifted up, churches, and all these other organizations, university, and it was just like, man, let's make this thing happen together.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
I am Anna Marie Beard.
And I am Michelle Swain. We are the co-founders of the Arcadia Valley Theater Guild in Arcadia Valley, Missouri.
So as we were forming the Guild, we started thinking about, well, what's our mission? And, you know, we are a rural county. We're about 90 miles south of St. Louis, and we really wanted to bring quality productions here. So we decided that our mission would be to enrich, educate, and entertain our community through quality theater productions. And we really let that guide every aspect of the plays that we chose to do, kind of, you know, cast and how we were going to form everything that we did.
We knew that we were going to put this production on. We did not know that we would be putting
26
this plus
26
productions
plays
on.
My name is Maggie Newstead Adams. I'm 15 and I'm a sophomore in high school. Up until now, I've only ever acted in plays until I got the opportunity to be a director this year. What I enjoy most about being involved with the Theater Guild is just the people who are in it. They're just amazing, and whenever you work with these people for such a long time, they just become like your family, and it's just a really close connection between them, and I just think what they're doing is amazing. Both Anna Marie and Michelle have really taught a lot of people and like opened things up for them by just introducing this whole thing to our community. What I've learned from the Theater Guild will definitely contribute to my future because I've learned a lot of responsibility from the Theater Guild. I've learned a lot of things I feel like that'll help me going into adulthood, like management, time management, all kinds of adult things like that. Specifically, it's really important to me as a high schooler because I feel like after all the hard work I do in high school and like how annoying it is all the time, I always have a place where I can go and feel just like I'm doing what I love.
I'm Grace Owen-Haas. I've been in 2 theater's productions, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Anne of Green Gables. I'm 19. The Theater Guild has impacted my life in like a lot of awesome ways. I have just been able to make some amazing friends, and honestly, it's more like family. Like really, when you are in a play with someone and working hard and having fun together, it like is such a cool bond. Like I love that about theater. I have really just like loved the confidence that it's been able to give me and like the fun I've been able to have, and it's just amazing.
Well, I've been involved since fall of 2016. I'm a very shy person to start with, and being involved with the Theater Guild has made me get more comfortable with meeting people and talking out loud, and I must admit I've surprised some of my relatives by how loud I can speak on stage, since normally my voice carries about 6 feet and stops.
My name is Janelle Jorgensen. I have not been in any productions at the Theater Guild, but I helped with the set and backdrops. And so in this latest production of The Secret Garden, I got to do a bunch of very large paintings for the set, and that was an exciting opportunity something I wouldn't have ever been able to do at home, something where they just give you the idea and then you can run with it creatively. But being involved with the community theater is a great way to connect with people who appreciate art. It's been a really fun experience.
My name is Josh Obenhaus, and I am 15 years old, and I have been with the Arcadia Valley Theater Guild since 2015. I have been in 3 productions, just getting to know everyone and hanging out and just having fun. It's so much fun, I love it.
Hi, my name is Savannah Boving, and I'm 12 years old, and I've been in 2 productions with the Guild. And what I love about the Theater Guild is that anybody can participate, anyone can help out, because there's always just a way that they can just be involved in the Guild.
There are so many aspects to the Theater Guild that we really are bringing a lot of different people into the Guild, people who would otherwise never connect, different age groups. We really have a lot of multi-generational connections. So that's been great to see the community coming out to find the skill that they're strong with.
There's a place for anyone here in the Guild.
Absolutely.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
So nationwide, about 2.5% of the workforce are developers, computer programmers. Here in Southeast Missouri, it's less than 0.5%. So we are well below the national average, and we have a lot of opportunity for impact to increase the number of computer programmers and developers here in Southeast Missouri. I'm Stacy Dohan Lane. I'm the Director of Public Relations with Codify and the Marquette Tech District Foundation. We have been working to impact and grow and increase the number of computer programmers in the workforce here in Southeast Missouri. So we have an adult coding course called Code Labs that takes folks with no programming knowledge all the way to entry-level junior developer skills in the space of 20 weeks. We're able to run it for free thanks to some really great grants, and we feel really positively about the impact that that's having on the folks who are taking it and on the local economy. But we were seeing these folks coming into Code Labs with just no programming knowledge whatsoever. So we thought maybe we need to start earlier. So we came up with the Youth Coding League. Chris Carnell, one of the co-founders of Codify, had this vision of how to make coding feel just as cool as the star football players must feel at their schools. He wanted to make coding really fun and engaging and exciting for the kids. And that's how the idea for the Youth Coding League was born. So we had some really generous donors with the Marquette Tech District Foundation who supported our vision to, launch this Youth Coding League and to bring these critically important skills to local kiddos. So I sat down and made a list of all the schools in Cape and Jackson. We decided we wanted to go for middle schoolers and pitched it to all of those schools. Well, I couldn't get everybody on board. And in the meantime, had a rural school reach out to me and pitched us as to why we should bring the Youth Coding League to them. So I went down there, went to Scott County Central. I'd never been there before. It's really in the middle of a cornfield. And she showed me her STEAM lab. She had built a STEAM lab out of basically spit and duct tape. She'd go home after a full day of teaching our classes K through 12 and write grants to equip her STEAM lab with the tools that she knew her students needed to work on this critically important skill set of coding and computer programming. And Christy Kreitz just explained to me how much her kids needed what we were doing. And thanks to that meeting and her vision, we went from just focusing on Cape and Jackson for our initial launch of the Youth Coding League and opened it up to these rural schools who reached out to us.
My name is Christy Kreitz. I'm the K through 12 art teacher at Scott County Central School. I'm also the Youth Coding League sponsor and coach, and I am the coach of our robotics team. Being the art teacher, I see all students that we have. And some of my students, I didn't know what their voices sounded like until they came to Youth Coding League. We're a basketball school, that's no secret. So having these kids that maybe are not athletic, having a niche that they can hang out with, and one day a week at school where they're hanging out with like kids, they're learning a new skill. This has given them some confidence. It's boosted their enthusiasm for school. They have a purpose to come, not just to learn math and science, even though that's super important, but this makes it fun. They are more outgoing. I think their social skills are better, and I have looked at academically. I think it has increased some of their academic skills as well. I think teaching this class is exciting for me. It gets me, being the art teacher, out of my comfort zone, way out of it. They're way smarter than I am. Just having them here every day is a challenge for me. And then to see the results, that this has changed. It literally has changed lives for some of my students, I believe.
We have some really big dreams and plans for the Youth Coding League moving forward. For spring of 2020, we're actually expanding to Paducah for the first time. The McCracken County Library is funding the Youth Coding League in 6 local elementary schools. So I'm working with the teachers now to get that up and running. And then a school in St. Louis reached out to us a couple months ago, and we're excited to be in Afton, Missouri this spring as well. So our future dreams include making sure every kid across the country has access to the Youth Coding League if it's something that they want to do. So we have big goals, and we're really excited to work towards them.
My name's Leah Powers. I'm the operations manager here at Catapult Creative House. And my role here is to really help the students with learning how to be an entrepreneur. So our center here is designed to give students that experiential learning opportunity for them to run a business. So downstairs in our first floor, we have Fuel, which is our coffee shop run by our hospitality students. We have the shop, which is run through our fashion and consumer studies students. We have an art gallery, which is run through some of our art students. We have the printing press here, which is run, it's Catapult Press, run through some of our, again, our letterpress print students. And then we also have upstairs a interior design business, that's Catapult Interiors, run by some interior design students. And also our mass media, our multimedia lab that has a graphic design intern run through our graphics programs. So these services are all here for students to learn the ins and outs of what it would take for them to run that business. They have budgets that they have to work on, they have marketing, they have promotion, they have to negotiate contracts, wholesale commission, the ins and outs of what it would be to actually run that business, as well as the opportunity to start their own business and potentially sell some of their own products. Some of the other programs that we offer, we have visiting artists come in and talk and work with the students in multiple of our areas in the gallery and the printing press. We have an entrepreneurship speaker series that provides students a means to connect with local area entrepreneurs and listen to their stories and learn and get mentorship from them. And we also have some other programs like our pop-up shop, which allows students to sell student-made work in specific location sales, either here in the building or off campus. We also have some studio spaces for the students, and that allows them to just come in. They have to apply for the space. They can use any of our resources here, any of the Adobe Creative Cloud or any of the other programs or equipment that we have to then make their own business idea into a reality. And that's really kind of what this whole building is about, is just connecting with those students, being located downtown so they have a foot traffic to come in and meet with the community as their customers, as well as connecting them up with other students across the campus who are like-minded students who would be interested in helping them with their programs. We're also been working with Junior Achievement, and right now we're running the JA Company program with the area high schoolers, where we're inviting high schoolers to come in, and throughout the semester they're building a business, which they're right now in the product development stage of that business, and they're meeting here once a week for 2 hours a week. They'll build that business, operate the business, and then at the end of the semester they're going to liquidate. It's the first time that we've run this program, so we're pretty excited to see how this is going to lead and inspire those high schoolers as they move on into their schooling career. I've been here with Catapult since May of 2015 when we've opened, so I've been here the whole time. And probably the most exciting piece for me is really getting to work on with those students one-on-one on a day-to-day basis, and seeing them come in as freshmen and sophomores, and then seeing them graduate and they're already on to their next best thing. We have a couple of our graduates this year who actually came back to us from the press area and have done some community events, one of which is working with one of the local businesses to paint a mural for downtown. While he's down here, he's actually printed a limited edition poster set. And so it was just great to see those alumni kind of coming back and really getting involved in the current students who are here and passing on what they've already learned skill-wise here and reaching out to the local community again, even though they don't live here anymore.
Rivertales is a production by the Southeast Missouri State University TV and Film Department.